Welcome everyone. Welcome to Foodemy. I'll be your mentor for thermodynamics for this session, and I hope that this session would be a very fruitful one for you. And before starting, let me point out one important thing, that thermodynamics is a very numerical intensive subject. So you will have to be very strong in solving numericals, and you'll have to practice a lot. But before that, you will have to learn a bit theoretical things. So first few classes would be a bit theoretical, so don't get panic. So, and as we move on to the other chapters, the number of theoretical things will decrease and more of problem solving will increase, and we'll have to solve a lot of problems and we'll have to practice a lot to get a good score in GATE. So our first chapter is basic concept, and I have divided this chapter into a few parts. So this is the first part of it, basic concept 1. In this video you will learn what is thermodynamics, macroscopic and microscopic approach of thermodynamics, system, surrounding and universe, then boundary and types of system. So let us first understand what is thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is made of two words. One is thermo and the other is dynamics. The word thermo is mainly associated with heat energy, and dynamics is mainly associated with the study of motion. So it basically implies study of work. Okay. So let me give you a good example so that you understand what this thermodynamics is all about. Suppose you want to drive a vehicle, and for that, first what is done in the engine, fuel is burned. Fuel is burned to produce some amount of heat. Okay, so this heat will have to be converted into work first of all. Then only this work can be used to drive the vehicle. Okay, so just by burning the fuel we can produce the heat, and so that we can use this heat to run the vehicle, we have to convert this heat into some amount of work. So the engine will convert this heat into work. Okay, so the science behind it is studied under the subject thermodynamics. In some cases we have to use work to facilitate the transfer of heat from one place to another. Okay, as we move on to our other chapters, you will understand that in AC and in refrigeration, we will use this concept where we use work to get heat transferred from one place to another. Okay, so thermodynamics basically deals with energy conversion, that is conversion of heat into work. Okay, heat is also energy, work is also a type of energy, energy exchange and the direction of energy. Okay, the direction of energy, that is we are focused more on the conversion of heat into work, and in some cases we are focused on conversion of work into heat, so the direction is also important. Right. Thermodynamics is mostly concerned with the conversion of low grade energy into high grade energy. So what is a low grade energy? A low grade energy is that energy which is readily available and is not that much useful for us. That is heat. Okay. Heat, we cannot use heat to drive the vehicle. Okay. We'll have to first convert heat into work so that this work can be used to drive the vehicle you want. Okay. So this is a low grade energy. This is a low grade energy and this is a high grade energy. So our focus is mainly on conversion of low grade energy into high grade energy. Okay. The next topic is microscopic approach of thermodynamics. In microscopic approach, what we do, that suppose there is a system and there are several molecules of gas in this box. Okay, there are several molecules of gas in this box. In microscopic approach, what we do, that we study each and every molecules of the gas. We study its various parameters such as position, then velocity and energy. All these parameters we study, and then we get a clear picture about the state of this gas, in which state it is, okay, whether it is hot or cold, and whatever it is, whatever, in what way the gas is behaving. To understand that, we study each and every molecule, and then we give a and then we get a clear picture of the gas, okay, in what state the gas is. But this approach is very tedious, because there will be millions and millions of molecules, and it is not very easy to study each and every molecule, okay. So this approach is very tedious, okay, and we have to deal with a lot of variable if we try to understand the system with this approach, okay. And also a knowledge of the molecular structure of the matter is important. That is, if we are studying this gas, we'll have to also know what is the molecular structure of this gas, okay. Whether the gas is having this kind of structure, or it is having this kind of structure, we need to have a clear idea about it, okay. So basically it is a useful tool, but it is very tedious, okay. The next approach that we are learning is macroscopic approach. In macroscopic approach, we use space average variables, okay. That means we are using some variables such as pressure, temperature, volume. All these parameters we are using to understand the same gas, okay. In this approach, we are not interested in studying each and every molecule, okay. What we are doing is that we are studying certain parameters. For example, if we record the temperature of this gas, okay, and this temperature comes out to be very high, okay. Suppose we say that the temperature of this gas is very high, then we can have a picture that, okay, this all the molecules will be having very high level of energy, very high level of energy, okay. So we'll get a rough picture about the state of the system. Similarly, if we take the parameter, suppose we are recording its pressure, okay, and we are getting that the pressure of this gas is very high, then we can understand that these molecules are colliding with each other at a very high rate, okay. That's why the pressure is very high. Okay. So we are using certain parameters such as pressure and temperature to understand the state of the gas. We are not interested in studying each and every molecule of the gas, okay. So this approach is easy, so it is widely used in classical mechanics, okay. It is not very tedious, and moreover we do not have to know about the molecular structure of the matter we are studying, okay. If we are studying gas, we do not have to know the molecular structure of the gas to understand the behavior. We just have to record some of the parameters, which are pressure, temperature, volume, etc, etc, and we can get a clear picture about the state of the molecules, okay. I am repeating again. In microscopic approach, we will have to study each and every molecule. We'll have to study each and every molecule. But in macroscopic approach, we don't study each and every molecule. We are just interested in certain parameters which will give us the idea about the state of the system, okay. Next, we'll introduce a very important concept, which is thermodynamic system. You will hear this word system very quite often in thermodynamics. So what is the system? So whenever we are studying something, whenever we are studying, suppose this is a box, and in this box we have certain gas. Suppose this is gas A, okay, and we want to study the behavior of the gas. So our volume, our space of analysis is this box, okay. We are doing our thermodynamic analysis within this box, so this space will become the system, okay. The region within which we are studying or we are doing our analysis is called the system, okay. I am repeating again, the region within which we are doing our study is called the system, okay. And system can be arbitrarily defined. This is a very important point. We can take this small region to be our system also, okay. This can be our system also if we want. according to our requirement. This can be also our system. This space can be also our system, and this whole box also can be our system. So according to our requirement, we can select any of the thing, any of the space as our system. Okay. Then what is surrounding? Everything else except the system is called the surrounding. Means if we are doing our analysis for this box will be our system, and everything else surrounding this box will be our surrounding. Okay, everything else except for this box will be our surrounding. Okay, and what is universe? System plus surrounding will give us universe. Okay, system plus surrounding will give us universe. This box is our system. This plus whatever is around this box will make up the universe. Okay, now let's understand what is a boundary. Boundary is the thing which separates the system and the surrounding. If we move to our previous slide, this box, in this case this box is acting as the boundary. The walls of this box are acting as the boundary between the system and the surrounding. Okay, so anything which separates the system and the surrounding is called the boundary. So boundary can be divided into two parts. One is real and imaginary. So what is a imaginary boundary? We can clearly understand what is a real boundary. Suppose we take the example of this beaker. This beaker is closed from the bottom, but it is open from the top. Okay, this part is open, and we are selecting this beaker to be our system. Okay, then this wall, this glass wall, and the bottom part will be real boundaries, because there is something which is separating the system from the surrounding. But this open part, there is nothing physical here which is separating the system and the surrounding, but we are considering this beaker to be our system. So this open part will be our imaginary boundary. Okay, this beaker is having some glass walls and a glass bottom, so these two things will act as a real boundary, but this top open part will be the imaginary boundary, because there is nothing physical in this top part. Okay, so boundary can be divided into two parts. One is real and the other is imaginary, and real part can be divided into two parts. One is fixed and one is moving. So all these boundaries are fixed. This boundary is fixed and this also is a fixed boundary. So what is an example of moving boundary? Suppose we take a piston and cylinder system. Suppose this is our cylinder and there we are putting a piston. Okay, this kind of arrangement you have seen in the syringe that the doctors use. Okay, this is our piston and this is our cylinder. So we can move this piston forward and backward. So if we consider this part, suppose there is some gas B. Suppose we are considering this gas B to be our system, and if we move this piston forward and backward, then this gas will also expand and compress accordingly. So this boundary is moving. So this is an example of moving boundary. This boundary and this boundary is fixed. Okay, so this is the example of fixed boundary, but this piston is moving back and forward, so this will act as our moving boundary. Okay, I hope this is clear. Then on the basis of mass and energy interaction, we can classify system into three parts. In open system, what is happening, that the mass within the system can come in or it can go out of the system. Okay, so there is mass interaction between the system and the surrounding. Okay, and again the heat energy can come out or it can get inside the system. Okay, so there is energy interaction is also happening in open system. Okay, so you can take the example of a beaker. If you are keeping if you're keeping some hot water, if you're keeping some hot water in a beaker, then the water vapor will also go out of the beaker. It will go out of the system, and the hot water will also lose some of the heat energy. So the water is also losing some of the energy. So we can say that there is energy interaction between the system and the surrounding also. Okay, so this is an example of open system. If then we'll move on to the next type of system, which is closed system. In closed system, energy interaction is allowed. That is, energy can come in or get out of the system. Okay, but mass is prohibited to come in or get out of the system. So what example we can take? We can take the same beaker. We can take the same beaker which is made of glass, and if we cover the top, okay, if we cover the top, then and we put some hot water here, then this mass cannot come out of the system. Okay, mass cannot escape from the beaker. So we have prohibited mass from getting out of the system, but the hot water will be able to lose some of the heat energy, so energy interaction is taking place. So this is an example of closed system. Then we'll move on to isolated system. In isolated system, both mass and energy interaction is prohibited. That is, for example, we take a thermoflux. We suppose there is a flux. Everyone has used a thermoflux. If you put hot water in there, or if you put cold water also, then the temperature of the water remains the same for some amount of time. That is, in thermoflux, we are prohibiting the mass to get out or come in to the system. Also, we are prohibiting the water to lose any of its heat. Okay, we are isolating the boundary so that it doesn't lose any of the heat. So I hope you have understood this. These three are the classification of system to as open, closed, and isolated. So I have made a small table which will explain, or which you can remember to answer the questions that can come in GATE. In open system, mass and energy interaction is allowed. Okay. In closed system, mass interaction is not allowed, but energy interaction is allowed. And in isolated system, both the interactions are prohibited. Okay. So with this, I'll like to end this video. Thanks for your attention.